Wir haben es geschafft, Mabel. Nach jahrelanger Arbeit ermöglicht uns diese revolutionäre Technologie einen beispiellosen Zugang in die Welt der Tiere.
Ist denn so heiße Feder?
Was geht ab?
Ich verstehe euch.
Ladies?
Well, I think when I stepped back from the movie, the most important thing for me was to make people laugh and to have people be together to enjoy a really fun movie. And I know that might sound a little bit like oversimplified, but to me it was a very connective thing to make a movie that people could enjoy and have fun together. And to me, that is what this movie is about. It's about connection and coexistence. If people, after they watch a movie, want to go outside and be around nature, that's a great thing. If people feel more connected with animals and they want to protect them or look after them, that's a great thing. But also if the movie encourages people to see their connection with other people and be kinder to each other, that's also a really good thing. There was a lot of movies. You know, our movie was always a cross between Mission Impossible, Avatar, obviously, a lot of nature documentaries. Pompoko was a really big influence. That's a Studio Ghibli movie. We also looked at a lot of like tonally strange movies, like from the 80s, like Gremlins, things that like you couldn't quite pick where that genre is. An exciting thing for me was that we could kind of jump in and out of different kind of genres. But the main influence that kind of drove a lot of the ideas of the movie was these animal documentaries where they put robot animals into nature and they try to fit in, they have cameras in their eyes. That was kind of the starting point for the idea of hopping technology. Well, at Pixar, you don't really have a choice. It's gonna be 3D no matter what. That is what the studio makes. But I will say, you know, having made a TV show in 2D, it was a great experience and we could move very fast. But there is something about 3D that allows you to really feel the tangibility of something. Whereas 2D is very flat and, you know, things, it's just a drawing essentially. I wanted these characters, like especially these plump beavers, like that you could reach out and grab them and hug them and hold them and you could see all the detail of their fur and the folds in their necks and stuff. And to me, that was just a different experience of getting to experience cute with dimension. And so I think that was one of the most exciting parts about getting to make this movie in 3D. I think one of the biggest challenges that the animators had to deal with is the multitude of different kinds of body types. For example, there are animals that walk on 2 legs. There are animals that walk on 4 legs. There are animals with no legs. There are humans in the movie. It's unusual for most CG movies to have this amount of a cast of different kind of body types. It kind of requires you to have an animation team that can be very versatile and has experience in doing such a variety of different kinds of animated characters, and it's complex for sure. So that was probably one of the toughest things for them. I have a lot, and I was very fortunate to have a really big inspiration, and I got to work with them early on in my career, which was Chris Sanders. He, I think, had just finished Lilo and Stitch and was working on his next movie, and I got a chance to work with him for a couple years, and that was a really inspiring kind of time in my life where I just started in the industry. And just meeting somebody who worked the way he did, was so inclusive with how he brought people in to kind of contribute. And he was just so funny, and I really got inspired by him. I got to work with Pete Docter after that on Inside Out, and he was just a huge inspiration because he really taught me how to be fearless with tearing things up and starting again. Pete has like no fear in starting over, changing things when they're not working, and pivoting, and I learned that from Pete. The last one I will say is Nick Park. Wallace and Gromit's Wrong Trousers was one of the biggest films for me when I was young. I saw that in a movie theater at a film festival, and I remember it kind of shifted the way I looked at animation or comedy in animation, and it just appealed to me in so many levels in ways that I'd never seen animation done before, both in tone and in style. And I actually got to show Nick Park some of our film when he was touring his movie around a couple years ago, and I got to point to a lot of scenes where it was like, got that from you, man. Yeah, I would say those three are pretty big influences on me.
Nein, spuck ihn aus! Okay. Warum?